Hi, and welcome to my very first crafting video. Today I'm going to be showing you some simple stamping and stencil techniques with some Distress Oxide ink blending. Um, so I got into crafting about a year ago and I did not know anything about it whatsoever. I started to do some things with painting, acrylic painting, some acrylic pour paintings, some alcohol ink technique stuff that I was learning, and I fell down the YouTube rabbit hole and I stumbled upon card makers and I was fascinated. I did not know that this world even existed. So a year ago, I couldn't tell you who Tim Holtz was, Jennifer McGuire, Christina Werner, all the big names in the card making field. But I have learned so much from them in the last year watching their videos, and I decided after a year of learning some techniques that I would start making videos on my own. So, to start off this video is not a very good angle, and that's going to change in a minute. So I just wanted to keep this part in here so you see that I'm still learning how to capture footage and also to edit footage, and also that I'm very much still a beginner in the card making process. I make mistakes and I'm starting off with a mistake here to show you. But now, there we go, much better angle, and it'll be much easier to view for you here on out. So I made a mistake on this card with the stamping. I had a little, the lip of that Betty Davis size stamp that I got from Deep Red Stamps was too close to the hearts that I had stenciled on. It kind of looked like the lip was smudging over. So I decided to do it again, and this time I decided to start with the face instead of the stenciling, and then I would stencil around it. So you can watch and see how I'm doing that. But basically, I got into this crafting thing and I fell in love. I loved making little pieces of art that I could put on a card base and send out to people to show kindness and let them know I'm thinking of them, and to, be like, hey, I took some time to make this for you, other than just pick it out of the store. I had you in mind, or once it was created, I had you in mind. And it's just been a really therapeutic process for me over the last year. It's helped me to heal some emotional wounds and to just work through some of my mental and emotional anguish, and it's also just been a way to be patient with myself, to be a beginner again with something at age 40. I think we can be beginners at any age, and that's partly what this video series is going to be about too, just being a beginner crafter and card maker, but also just beginner at new things in life at any age, and being okay with it and having the courage to do it. So yeah, hope you enjoy watching this process. So right here I've taped down my stencil, and I'm going to come in with my Distress Oxides, and I have an old makeup brush here that I love for blending. I got the idea from all the new Picket Fence life-changing brushes. So I went and looking at my old makeup stash, and I had a makeup brush I'd never used before, and this one blends beautifully. I absolutely love it, and so I saved myself a ton of money there. If you're just starting out, I definitely suggest looking through some things that you might have that you could use as alternatives, either instead of or before you can afford the more name brand products. You might never have to buy them. I will always try to share with you if I find a less expensive alternative for something to use, or where I would definitely recommend not skimping on maybe a name brand product because of the quality. I have saved a lot of money by shopping at Michael's with my 40, 50, 60% off coupons. You can get the app, and there's usually a coupon in there that you can use every day. Sometimes they have even great sales for 20% off everything, including sale items, so look for those. Amazon definitely has some less expensive alternatives, and also carry a lot of things that I can't find in Michael's. Plus, there's really great sites for card makers like Simon Says Stamp and scrapbook.com, where you can find a lot of numerous brands and products to use. As I'm looking back on this video and doing this voiceover, I see a learning moment, a place where I could have used that ink that was on that stencil. If I had come in and actually spritzed it with water and come in with a blank note card and pressed it over the top of that, I could have gotten a completely different image and maybe another background for another card. It's a good way not to waste the ink that you've already put down. So right here I have my Sizzix Big Shot die cutter machine. This is definitely something I would recommend if you're going to be a card maker or a scrapbooker. It takes these thin metal dies and you can roll it through the machine and then give these great cutouts of words, letters, shapes, all sorts of things that I could never cut out with scissors. It would just take way too much time and I'm definitely not that precise. So it's definitely something worth investing in if this is something you want to pursue. So I cut out that love die 3 times. I'm going to layer it up so it's a little bit thicker and it gives some dimension to the front of the card. I pulled out some adhesives here. First I pulled out my Distress Collage Medium, but then I decided to come in with my Quickie glue pen. It writes just like a pen and puts down a very narrow layer of glue. So I'm coming in on the letters and I'm going to put that second layer on it and then add the third, and I'll have some nice dimension for my sentiment. In a second, you'll see my candle appear. It's sitting on top of an acrylic block, which is on top of these letters while the glue is drying. It's just so none of the edges will peel up, and there you go. It's just a little trick I learned watching some Jennifer Maguire videos. So, all right, so I'm pulling out my Tonic Tim Holtz trimmer. This is the 3rd trimmer I bought. It's probably my favorite trimmer. I keep it on my craft desk at all times. It's super lightweight. I can put it over the side, pull it over when I just need to trim up a card base, card front, whatever. It's awesome. Definitely recommend it. So I'm just looking at how I want to position my card front on my card base. I've pulled out some red cardstock. All the color cardstock I have right now, I got at Michael's. They have a lot of variety packs of different colors that you can get. It is 65-pound cardstock, so it's not super thick, but it works really well for layering and especially adding to a card base. You can find great sales on it. A lot of times they'll have it 3 for $10 packs or 5 for $10 packs, so just keep on the lookout for those great sales. Now I'm coming in here too to put that love die on as my sentiment. I'm moving it around the card. I'm looking to see what kind of composition I like with it, and I've decided that I'm just not really in love with this love die. So I'm going to put it off to the side, and I've already made it. It's in black. I probably can use it on something in the future, so I'm definitely going to save that. I'm not going to trash it. So another seemingly obvious trick is to use scratch paper to do your stamping, just to see what the image is going to look like before you put it on your note card. As you can see, I messed around with the face image there, and now I'm going to come in with this little sentiment that I got out of a variety pack off Amazon of different stamps. It says "Love You." Now luckily I had that first card that I had made the mistake on, so I'm actually going to practice my sentiment on that card since it pretty much matches the final image I'm working on. The black ink I'm using here is VersaFine Onyx black ink. It gives a great, crisp, solid impression. It is wonderful ink, especially for sentiments. It's probably my go-to black ink. It is waterproof as well, so you can use it for watercoloring. It is considered a pigment ink, so it stays wet a little bit longer than some dye inks, which is great for heat embossing with embossing powders. Alright, so I'm playing around with this image here and this sentiment, and I'm going to go into my final image and stamp the sentiment. Now this originally was going to be a Valentine's card, but I'm kind of glad I didn't add a Valentine's sentiment to it. I just added the love you sentiment, so it could be sent at any time of year. Yes, it has the Valentine's colors and the colors of love, but considering that I'm getting this video out probably a week and a half later than I originally wanted, it's just a love you card. Alright, so I'm getting close to being finished with the card. I just need to attach my card front to my card base. I'm using my bone folder to make sure that my crease on my card is straight, and I'm coming in with my tape runner here to attach my red cardstock to my white card base. Now for the card base, I'm using Neenah Classic Crest Solar White 110-pound cardstock. If you're going to spend any kind of money on cardstock, I would definitely recommend investing in this. Now I had a little piece of, as you can see there, I trimmed off a piece of the edge of the card where it just, the white was showing under the red, but now no one will see it. So before I decide to attach that white card front to the rest of the card, I wanted to add a little bit more interest. I pulled out my envelope maker punch board here from We Are Memory Keepers. On the opposite side of it, it has a little punch where you can go in and round out the corners of your envelopes. So I'm going to take in this, or your paper, I should say. I don't know what I was doing with my hands there. I've been watching this part of the video and been like, what was I trying to say there? Because apparently I was trying to tell you something while I was making the video, but since I'm coming in here afterwards, I don't remember what that was. Anyway, so I'm rounding out the corners here. And then I think that just adds a little bit of something extra to the card. So there it is. Yeah, I really actually like that. I think the rounded corners look well with the roundness of the heart. So I'm going to come in and attach that. Now this, I wanted this to pop up a little bit more. So I brought in my giant roll of foam, double-sided foam adhesive. And I got this off of Amazon. Now I started using the 3M tape at first, and I love the 3M actually better, but this roll was half the price, and I got tons of tape. So I'm coming in with there. It's got the release paper on the back, so when I'm actually ready to put it on my image, I can just pop it up on the card there. And it just gives it some extra dimension, especially since I decided not to use that love die. I wanted this to pop off the card base a little bit. Whenever you think that your card needs a little something extra, maybe it's just some sparkle and shine, or maybe it's some dimension, you can go in with layered dies, foam tape, sequins, Nuvo drops, all sorts of embellishments that you can add to it. I love Shimmer Spritz Spray. I did put that on the card. You're not able to see it in the video, but it just adds a really nice kind of shine to the front of the card. I did decide that this card needed a little something extra on the inside, so I had some heart images on that Love You stamp set that I'm just going to come in on the inside and kind of fill up all that white space in the card. I did leave a little white space in the middle in case I wanted to write a message to someone. But other than that, I have pretty much wrapped this card up, and you have the final image there. I really love that Betty Davis stamp. I can't wait to use it on other things, but I just thought it was framed so nicely by that heart stencil. I actually don't really like hearts, but I kind of pushed myself to use an image that I don't really love. But I think it turned out really cute. It's a very simple card, but I can't wait to send it to somebody. Well, thank you so much for hanging in there with me through my very first video. If you want to see future videos, please like and subscribe, and also visit my website. If you're interested in any of the products I used today to start your own card making hobby, they will be linked below in the description box. So go out there, don't be afraid to be a new beginner, and go out and make stuff. See you next time. Bye.